Arrogance looks different on everyone. You see it when someone is constantly late without any regard for others' schedules, or when they act as if they're better than everyone. And because they're like this, it can be really hard to be friends with them, let alone just be around them. It can be draining, headache-inducing, and also irritating. It takes the fun out of daily conversations and even demotivates you. Does anyone come to mind that fits this description? Need more help figuring out if they are actually arrogant? This video will guide you on how to spot an arrogant person, plus hacks on how to deal with them too. Number 1. They always want to be in the spotlight. The absolute telltale sign that someone is arrogant is when they just love being in the spotlight. No matter what they do or say, they have this need to be the center of attention. They don't notice how their need for attention is overbearing, as if their usual self isn't hard enough to deal with. Adding in their achievements into the mix only inflates their ego even further. Sometimes they even try to downplay others' success just because they want the spotlight on them. It's like Carly Simon wrote, "You're so vain, exactly for them." If their success was a team effort, they'll belittle other people's efforts. You'll hear something like, "Thanks to me, we were able to." Now this might seem all too familiar, especially if you've watched Bobby Adler from Will and Grace. No matter the occasion or no matter how mundane the day is, she found a way to make it all about her. And this can be tiring to deal with after a while, especially when it's others' turn to be celebrated. Number 2, they'd never admit when they're wrong. An arrogant person never admits when they're in the wrong. In arguments, they'll find a way to make it seem like they were agreeing with you in the first place, and that you're the one who misunderstood them. Alternatively, they will also just move along when they realise that they're wrong. They'll act as if nothing happened, and they won't even apologise. You will never really hear them say sorry. Sometimes they'll even debate with you to the point where you end up apologising to them. It's as if you owe them an apology for wasting your time. This is kind of like how Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory acts. He always thinks he's right and never apologises. Unless, of course, his mother tells him to. Even when they are at fault, they won't apologise for it. It could be as simple as them accidentally stepping on your foot. Arrogant people won't bother apologising and would make it seem like it's even your fault because you were blocking their way. Never admitting wrongdoing is not a personality trait anyone should strive for. Number 3, they think their preference is superior. If you have different preferences from them, they'll immediately see you as inferior. Whether it be their interest in mundane stuff like music, movies, or ships, or even more complex things such as politics, they tend to put themselves on a pedestal. If you don't like their favourite food, they'll say you're uncultured. They will say that you have terrible taste. Maybe they'll even go as far as to insult your favourite cuisine and your go-to restaurants just to make themselves look better. Or when you don't want to eat at the restaurant they suggested, they'll push their idea until you go with it. They'll probably even make up a story about a terrible experience they had in the cafe you want to go just so that you'll cave. Even with the tiniest little things, they'll make sure to fight you for it. They expect you to follow what they like and nothing else. Overall, they're dismissive of your opinion if it's not aligned with theirs. Even if everyone else agrees with you, it doesn't matter. They're still right. Number 4, they keep pulling others down. I heard a rumour. They criticise everyone they know to the point where it can no longer be called constructive criticism. Arrogant people nitpick others' mistakes without considering the person's feelings. When you cross someone arrogant, they won't let you forget it. Even if you have apologised 100 times after that, they'll still remind you of past mistakes. It's like they've set your flaws and their negative experiences with you in stone just so they appear better than you. They've made it their life's mission to put others down so that they could look better. Their confidence comes from others' failures. Number 5, they lie all the time. Arrogant people want you to believe that their lifestyle is better than yours. They will lie about their lives to make it seem like theirs is much more interesting. Remember that incident when an influencer took a photo in first class only to go back to their seat in coach after they posted the photo? Cringe much? These pretentious people will brag about their lavish lifestyles and take deceiving photos to make sure you're jealous of them, even if none of it is real. They'll make stories about visiting different places, such as expensive hotels or resorts, just so they can rub it in your face. They even lie about meeting celebrities. Like sure, Harry Styles just happened to be on that first-class flight to Paris and he spilled champagne on your phone, that's why you don't have pictures. Sure, we believe you. They go the extra mile just so that you wouldn't see them as inferior or on the same level as you. In their mind, if they don't look better than you, there's something wrong. To avoid this, they lie about who they are. And most of the time, they get away with it too. So the question now is, how to deal with arrogant people. Number 1, kill them with kindness. You can avoid situations like them forcing their opinion on you by accepting who you're talking to. If you've had negative experiences dealing with this person and their arrogance, maybe it's best to avoid talking about landmine topics with them. Or if they're being obnoxious with their attitude, take the high road. Arrogant people have such strong personalities that it can be overwhelming for most people around them. But once you put yourselves in their shoes, you can understand why they act this way. So when you meet an arrogant person, don't judge them too quickly. Number 2, don't give in. If an arrogant person keeps talking over you, what you can do in this situation is to keep on talking. When they try to butt in, finish your sentence. Stand firm. And if they try to cut you off anyways, make a stand and speak your mind. I'm not done speaking. Do not interrupt me. Let them know how you want them to listen to you first and that they'll get their turn. Help them understand how you'll listen to their input after you get to share yours. Sometimes you really have to be explicit about how they're cutting you off, because there are times when they just can't take a hint. Number 3, make a stand. When you see that an arrogant person is belittling someone else, stand up for them. You know how it feels like when this happens. Tell them they're being inconsiderate of the person's feelings or that they're being too harsh with their words. Offer alternative sentences with kinder words. Explain to them that this looks ugly, could be said as, I prefer. Or when the arrogant person keeps talking over someone else, ask them to pause while you're listening to someone else's input. Let them know that they will have their turn.